A prominent abolitionist of the 19th century, John Brown and his family lived in a settled Black community in upstate New York. Frustrated by the country's lack of support for anti-slavery, Brown hoped to ignite a movement to end slavery once and for all, but it was not to be in his lifetime, as Brown was captured and hanged. His body was returned to his home, which is now New York State Park, known as John Brown Lives, a freedom, education, and human rights project.
Basically, the reason we have not been taught about John Brown in his complexity, in the enormity of his contribution to ending slavery in this country is because, quite simply, he was a white man who dedicated his life and gave up his life for Black people. And that's a story that we as a country, I think we have a hard time fathoming. A white man giving up his life for Black people? It doesn't fit the narrative. Also, because John Brown was a white man, he understood in his time that the problem, so to speak, of slavery, the peculiar institution of slavery, was a problem for white America. It was born on the backs and on the lives of Black people, but it was fundamentally a problem resulting from white supremacy and racism. We like to think of the South, I think those of us in the North, slavery as a Southern institution, and it was taught that way for years and years and years. And I think it's just been scholarship in the last few decades that's really pulled back the veil, not only on the fact of slavery in New York, but also on the economic underpinnings of slavery in New York and Northern merchants and financiers and bankers and so forth. So in 2021, that's the 125th anniversary that this most important state, national, and even international site of conscience, that this place has been in the care of New York State. It exists much as it did back then, when the Browns lived here, when the Black settlers lived in the region. I think we'll see much more scholarship, much more cultural activity, much more conversation. And if we can be honest about our own involvement and the sins of slavery on our soil, in our history, then maybe we can find some opportunities for the kind of deep reckoning with this part of our history and within this very divided and polarized country in which we live right now.